caltrop is an area denial weapon designed to stop the enemy. The caltrop is a sturdy, simple, yet effective weapon no matter its position. Its purpose was originally designed to stop elephant and donkey attacks. It graduated to stopping tanks. And now, the caltrop is your defense against propaganda, polished lies, and manufactured outrage. It's free from counterfeit credibility and synthetic truth. However, inside the walls of the caltrop, you're going to be forced to think. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mike Calderese is the caltrop.
Coming down the mountain from the heaven to the hell, the Mike Calderese, the caltrop, he never stops, so ring the bell. He bring the facts, he's been up every morning till we sleep. He get it deep, Mike Calderese, in your head and in your sheets. And we don't mind, and we don't care, Mike Calderese is the caltrop. And we don't mind, and we don't care, Mike Calderese is the caltrop. And we don't mind, and we don't care, Mike Calderese is the caltrop.
Good evening and welcome to the Caltrop. I am your host, Michael Calderese, and you guys know that the Caltrop is your defense mechanism. And it's your defense mechanism from the smears, the lies, the media bullshit, and the government bullshit that you've been seeing. And I have a female guest today, so I got to try to keep my language down, okay? Keep my language toned. But you know the garbage that gets pushed on us all day long. And I've been talking about it on the show, something that enraged me, that you guys know that enraged me, was watching a town council president attack a woman and a woman citizen taxpayer, and with really disgusting labels like terrorist or terrorist sympathizer, and a lot of things that seem like everyone's okay with just doing this to a woman. So, like I said, and a citizen of the town. So I lost it. And what I did was I invited one of the culprits that were on the show, Elliot Shemtov. He was a mayor candidate. And I asked him that night, and Elliot said, Mike, yes, we need to talk about this. He came on and told his side of the story. I have invited Mordecai Bernstein on the show at least 5 times. I have not gotten a response. He could have came on right after this guest, with this guest, or whatever, and I've not gotten anything back from him. And then Rania gets in touch with me. And I got to tell you something, guys. When I started talking to her, it didn't take long for me to say, "Please come on the show. Please, please, please come on the show." And I want to make one thing very clear with everybody. You know, she has the guts to come on, show her face, and she is literally being attacked. And it's attacked in multiple ways. You're going to hear her story tonight. And you know, one of the things that I push all the time, and what I want everybody to understand is, these labels we throw around easy, and it's easy to put people in these labels and in these boxes. And by doing that, it's the cheapest form of disgusting human nature. Because, you know, no matter what group that they want to demonize, anytime you demonize a label, you're demonizing every single person in that group. This is something that the Jewish people don't understand, that when I go after Lakewood, I'm going after some of the bad behavior. I'm not going after your religion. And people, we have to get to this point where we can have more conversation and we stop trying to label everybody. And you know what we do? We hear everybody out and we talk to people. And then we could really have an idea of where everybody is coming from. Instead of what you see happening is labeling in town council meetings, labeling in the papers, demonizing, and getting to it. So today we have Rania Hashem. I think I nailed her name. I think I nailed it. She's on with us tonight, but I have a quick monologue on how I was being attacked, and it's really going to set up this entire episode. So let's get the show started with the mics right. Shut up and listen. All right, guys, let me ask you a serious question. When did the word terrorist become the most overused Yelp review in politics? It's like, seriously, you have a different ideology, suddenly you're a terrorist. Wrong opinion, terrorist. Had lunch with the wrong person. Oh, yeah, super terrorist. We've taken a word that's supposed to mean something very specific, and we turn it into the political version of I don't like you. Let's actually break this down because nobody does this anymore. We just throw labels around. A terrorist, by definition, is someone who uses violence against civilians to create fear, intimidate people, or push an agenda. Cool, clear, simple definition, right? So by that logic, if bombs are dropped on non-combatants, if innocent people are living in fear, if entire populations are being psychologically crushed and physically destroyed, that's terrorism by definition. I don't care what flag you want to wrap it in. I don't care what speech you want to give after. Fear is fear. Terror is terror. And terror is in the eyes of who's being bombed. This isn't complicated unless you want to make it complicated. But here's where it gets real interesting. Because now we've evolved. We've upgraded. We don't just accuse people of terrorism anymore. We weaponize the accusation itself. Think about just what just happened here in Jackson, New Jersey that I alluded to. Here you have a woman, a citizen, a taxpayer, member of the community, football mom, who does something absolutely insane in 2026. She goes and has coffee with a mayor candidate and a conversation, all to figure out who this citizen might want to vote for. Surprise, surprise. Wow, lock her up, right? What a radical concept, talking to a candidate before you vote for him. And what happens? She gets dragged by her council president at the council meeting, publicly attacked, smeared in papers, labeled a what? A sympathizer, a problem, a threat, or a terrorist herself, all 109 pounds of her. For what? Eating a sandwich, drinking a coffee, and asking questions? So now I've got to ask, if terrorism is about intimidating people, if it's about creating fear, if it's about sending a message that says, don't you dare step out of line, what exactly do you call that behavior done against her? Because from where I'm sitting, that woman walked into a diner and walked out feeling okay about the candidate, then to be attacked and feeling like she had a target on her back. That's not politics. That's intimidation with a microphone and a council meeting. And the best part, my favorite part, my absolute favorite part of this is the Olympic level hypocrisy. Olympic level. The same people screaming about discrimination are the same people who file lawsuits over being treated unfairly. Turn around and do the exact same thing to someone else. The thing that was done to them that they sued the town for. It's not similar. That's not close. They did the exact same thing to her. To a Palestinian woman, no less. Men attacking women over her words and her choice of coffee creamer. You can't make this up. It's like watching somebody set their own house on fire and lecture the neighborhood about fire safety. And then we get into this ridiculous game of who's the real terrorist. Oh, if you support this side, you're the sympathizer. Oh, yeah, if you support that side, you are. I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? So cool. Now everyone's a terrorist. And nobody knows what the word even means anymore. It's just a verbal grenade. You don't debate anymore. You don't talk. You just label and detonate. But here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to say out loud. You can't condemn someone for supporting a terrorist while you openly support someone that half the world calls a terrorist or a war criminal. You don't get to play that game, people. We don't get to play semantics. We don't get to say, my guy is complicated, but your guy is evil. When they're both killing. When all of them are killing. We don't get to do that. Either way, we're using definitions. Either we're using definitions or we're using feelings. Pick one. Because if we're using definitions, then we have to be consistent. And if we're using feelings, then just admit this whole thing is subjective. Stop pretending Stop standing on some moral high ground, because right now it looks like people are less interested in stopping terrorism and way more interested in deciding who they're allowed to call one. And that's dangerous, because once you normalize labeling your neighbors as threats, once you make people afraid to speak, afraid to meet candidates, afraid to question, or afraid to think, or God forbid, push back on something, congratulations. You didn't stop terrorism. You just brought it home, dressed it up in a suit, and handed it with a microphone and terrorized your own community. That's all you're doing, is changing the means of terror and the topic itself. It's absolutely unacceptable in my world. That's Mike's right. Hope you listened. All right, guys, listen, man. Sorry, man. This thing really beats me up, because this is America, and we should be able to treat Americans like Americans, and you should be able to think differently. God forbid, and have a conversation about it. So you know how I do it here at the Caltrop. I don't care. I am going to have anybody on to have any conversation that we want. And with that, I am going to bring to the stage Rania Hashem. Did I nail it, Rania? Did I do good? Welcome to the Caltrop.
Hello,
how are you?
There.
So Rania, you have to tell us. Number one, what'd you think of my monologue?
I loved it. You hit every point, the nail on the head. It was perfect.
Nailed it. I love when people say I nail it, Rania. I got to tell you, I nailed that like a split hog. I do. I felt good about it. I felt good. All my pauses, I did good. No, I'm just playing around. But hey, listen. So let's do this. Do me a favor. Like, you have to tell me. Take me back to when. Like, I want to go to one point, and then I'm going to go a little bit further back. When you woke up the morning and saw that your name, or how'd you find out that you were being attacked by Morty to begin with? Let's start right there.
I was messaging a friend of mine, and a friend responded by saying, you need to make your Facebook page private, because our council president, Morty Bernstein, is spreading news about you all over the place. And I said, what do you mean? My Facebook page is private. Long story short, I go and I see what's going on, which kind of tells me somebody's really infatuated with me. Stalking, following, like, do you have anything else to do? Like, maybe go over the town's finances, the citizens' concerns? Is there anything else you have as a priority other than stalking my Facebook page and taking screenshots of it?
So how did do you know how he found out in the first place that you guys even had dinner? Was it because he posted it? Like, did he see it on your Facebook page? Did you post, hey, I just met with Elliot? Like, how did he even find out in the first place?
Elliot and I went out to dinner, coffee.
And did you have like a spy sitting in the woods with like binoculars and like watching you guys?
I would imagine. I wouldn't be surprised though, right?
Huh?
Elliot had asked for my permission to take a photo so we can share it to the community, to kind of give a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever it was. It was a thumbs up for me, but we agreed to the photo. We took the photo, and I was happy after I left that meeting with Elliot and Chris. They're wonderful people, genuinely, truly wonderful. So I believe after they posted it on Facebook, Fight for Jackson, that's when Morty seen it and then decided to stalk my page to pry on my personal views and my social life. I mean, I don't know. Why do you need to stalk a citizen and use your platform and weaponize your position against a citizen, a constituent? I'm a taxpayer. I live here. I'm a citizen.
What I saw, and what was the reason behind it? And this is the interesting part about this. I mean, you did, like, you had a meeting with a candidate, right? Are they saying that you don't even deserve a vote, like because of your beliefs? Like, I'm trying to understand, like, what was the problem here? Like, just do me a favor, tell everybody, like, how long have you been a Jackson resident? You know what I'm saying? Like, just tell everybody quickly about yourself and your connection to Jackson, so they can understand where you're coming from.
I'm originally from New York. I moved to
Okay.
Jackson approximately 12 years ago. I've been in Jackson since 2014. Um, I'm happy where I am. I love my neighbors. I love my friends, my kids' friends. I do what a good citizen is supposed to do, friendly
So you
neighbor.
don't. So you go to your kids' events. Do you, like, how many bomb vests have you wore to these kids' events? Is that like attire for you guys? You know what I'm saying?
Let me check my inventory in my closet. Let me go see.
Is it C4 that you put on there? Where
I
obviously,
mean,
I'm making a joke, right?
you
But
can't even make this stuff up, honestly. I mean, you can find me on days wearing football jerseys, other days, like, it's different every day. I fit in with the community. It's dynamic for the most part until recent changes where it's going just very sour. And which is why I went to meet with Elliot and Chris. I wanted to ask questions, fair questions, and I got them answered, and I was happy with the answers I received, and they're both pleasant, wonderful gentlemen. They're
and
great.
you agreed to disagree to end the meeting, right? So you even left there. You didn't agree on everything, and you still left feeling good about them.
Absolutely. Everybody's entitled to disagree and just behave civilized about it. I'm not going to see eye to eye with everyone, even my close friend, even my mom. We don't always see eye to eye with every single person, and we don't have to. That's the beauty of being in America. It's a melting pot, it's diverse. There's many different races, ethnicities, cultures, religions, personal views on life. We're not all one type of people following one type of road, following one type of dress code. Everybody's entitled to whatever they want. However, we agreed to disagree, and that's fine because genuinely, Elliot and I saw eye to eye on what I really needed addressed, and that's okay. That's my goal in that conversation. Everything else we can agree to disagree on.
And let me just ask you really quick before we even get to your because one of the things that bothered me about it is they're not going at you for any of your stances locally. They're going after you for your stances globally. So let me ask you a question. What are and it was one of the things that I've asked the Ocean County population. They gave me back over 1,200 now votes on what's going on. But what do you think your three main local issues, real quick, if you could sum them up in like three topics? What are your three main things as far as what you want out of Jackson or Ocean County? Like, what are your three main issues?
They met with many of your top votes. Number one was safety,
Okay.
because there's an increase in just unsafe conditions in multiple different ways. We have school buses speeding up and down the community. We have cars parked from corner to corner where you can't see exiting your community until you're in the middle of the intersection. And
Car
yet they put up
accidents.
no parking signs and they're still parking.
Yep. Car accidents. That's a very big safety issue. We have Ocean County has skyrocketed in deadly accidents, or I mean, in accidents that are cause major injury, just major accidents. Period. We have so many of them. I think we lead the country in that. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay. Um, so number one would be safety. Number two, our schools are shutting down. I
Yep.
mean, I get the dynamic of how we ended up there, but it feels like a huge economic and social injustice. Number three, the corrupt politicians. I feel like that should actually be top of the chain because If we address that, everything else would be heard. Get rid of the corruption. It's so blatant. I just don't understand how they don't see it and behave like, no, we can still get away with this. No,
It's
every
so blatant because
regime comes to an end.
yep. No, you're 100% right. I love those three. I absolutely love those three because it really does. It shows that you definitely have your pulse on Ocean County because we know that if you ask me, Ocean County in New Jersey has some of the most corrupt politics. Period. End of story. End of discussion. Certainly throughout the state, I will stake a claim on that, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to show it when when I get into this county committee position. It's going to start with the Republican Party. I know there's a lot of disgusting corruption in the Republican Party, and it bleeds out into all of our governments. But let's do this, Rania, because I really want to. This is where I'm going to hammer you. You ready? I'm going to roll up my sleeves.
Oh boy.
And I'm going to turn into Morty. I'm going to turn into Morty. All right.
Okay.
I don't want to do a Morty accent. I don't want to mess with them. But let's do this here because this is basically what you were charged with. It says, would you go out to eat with someone who supports the biggest sponsor of terror and responsible for the death of thousands of Americans? And you posted where was it? You posted the Ayatollah Khomeini. Right. And it was this is what just so everybody's clear, what I'm posting here is the post that the papers used to smear her with. Okay. So I am using their reporting. And if you notice, when I did it for you, Rania, when I spoke about this, I marked out your name. So I didn't want to put your name in my reporting when I was doing this for it. They had no problem, just so you know, putting her entire stuff on blast. All right. And this is what it says. The Ayatollah was such a wise and peaceful man. So, I mean, they call him a terrorist. Why don't you tell everybody why you posted that?
That's actually a video. And if you listen to his speech, he speaks of peace. He speaks of peace, and he speaks of certain entities invading other people's lands for natural resources. He doesn't reflect terror to me. If I were to live in Iran, I would be fine. I wouldn't feel terrorized. Actually, I feel terrorized by someone else locally inflicting, how do you say, he put a target on my back. He put my name out there, labeling me as a terrorist. And it's very clear and obvious who did this. Yet, if I were to live in Iran, I would not feel threatened. There's nothing threatening about this man's speech that I posted.
What's interesting? I do like when I look at Iran, some of my issues, Rania, with just Iran overall, is like killing the protesters. You know what I'm saying? So if you spoke out in Iran, you would be though attacked, though, would you? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you don't
Iran
think there's any
is one of.
there?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Iran is one of the most advanced in everything, education. Their women's education levels top worldwide, by far the US. The women, there's civilization there. Nobody has explored enough to understand the dynamics there. But that's part of mainstream media also, tainting the general population's image to gear a certain narrative to a certain way. But I implore you to go and look and see the education levels there, the civilization there, Iranian women there. You're not forced to wear a hijab. Wearing a hijab is an option that a woman chooses to wear it or not. It is her decision. Nobody forces her to. If I wanted to wear it, I would wear it at my own free will. My husband doesn't force me to wear it. Why would anybody? It's not written anywhere in the Quran that you have to. It's an option. and free will. Everybody has free will. So I implore everyone to go look into Iran's civilization. They're not ancient times like barbaric, terroristic, as the media has tainted that image of them.
Now, what do you say to the people who say that in Iran you have, people protesting in the streets that they feel in Iran that they're living under an oppressive, regime that has the reports are they have killed protesters though, right? So, what do you say to that argument? Because I always say, listen, there's going to be people for that, obviously, too. So do you see opposition to the Ayatollah there? Do you think it was better under the Shah? Are there people that still like the Shah? Like, what do you think happened? What do you think's going on there?
I would have to say I would need to learn more about that question and then get
Okay,
back to you
all
before
right.
I answer
I
that.
love that answer. Yeah. Okay, so let's do this, Rania. Let's take another one because again, like I have the fact that you could back up your thought. This is what I want out of people, right? Because this is a conversation. And again, remember, I could sit here and talk and say, listen, I don't think you could say you're peaceful, but then certain tenets of that you hear that's going around are violent, right? And I think that goes for everybody. I think there's violence and maniacs in every single one of our things. I think there's
Absolutely.
different levels of it, right? So let's get to another one that you posted here. This is a lion with Iran and a rat as it wearing an Israeli flag, right? This is a guy standing on an Israeli flag. The first thing I thought was like Aladdin, Prince Ali, fabulous. So this is from what they put of you, right? And one of the quotes from Morty was, "When America is at war and you support the enemy state, you are a traitor." Now, and one of the things they said is that you are openly supporting the death of American servicemen. Do you want American servicemen to die? Were you celebrating that?
Absolutely not. I do not want anybody to die for any reason, which is why I would label myself as a humanitarian. I oppose death of any kind, and I actually spent hours trying to figure out how can these American soldiers get out of an illegal war that Israel dragged us in with our American taxpayer dollars. So no, my answer is no. I don't wish death upon anyone. My whole being, my whole heart, my whole everything is dedicated to ending killing.
And your religion, your mind doesn't tell you to kill people like me, non-believers. That's not what it says.
No, no, it says you have your religion and I have mine. We look for the good and we share bread with the good people and we build bonds in our community with good people. But
And now
at
let
the
me
end of
ask
the
you this.
day, you have your religion and I have mine. And that means it's okay to not see things the same way as long as we're all good people.
Okay, and would you say that there are radicalized groups throughout the Middle East that are set to do terror?
Well, I think there's radicalized groups everywhere in the world of every group of every kind of topic you can think of, not just even religion.
Yeah, so everywhere,
um,
right? We would agree on that.
it's
There's
it's
everyone's
everywhere.
bottom.
There could
Okay.
be extremist for Christianity, for Christians, right? Extremist for Jews, which we're seeing right now, the Zionists. Extremist for Muslims. There is good and bad in every walk of life from every person.
So what you're saying
Nobody's
is
perfect.
you don't blatantly hate every single. And I asked Chris Pollock the same question, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate all Jews? You don't hate all Jews, right? Is this what I'm hearing
No,
out of you?
absolutely not. I have rabbis in my phone contacts that I've had sit downs and talks with and organized certain events together with, kind of like a multicultural committee of our own. And they're wonderful people. I have people from Jewish Voice for Peace. I'm friends with them. I have tons of Jewish friends in my phone, but they're not Zionist. There's a huge difference.
So there's a to me, I think there's a big difference between all of them, right? And I fight against all organized religion that's trying to impose itself on me. I don't care who it is, whether it's Dearborn, Michigan, with hearing the call to prayer at 5 o'clock in the morning, like you hear in reports of, and things like this. It's
Well, we
like,
have that in Jackson too, by the way, in case you didn't know. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
at 5 a.m. call to prayer where it's loud like
Well,
that, where it wakes.
no, not necessarily, but it's chanting of our precious community that's come in at
Okay.
all different hours of the day, loudly,
Okay.
extremely
Okay.
loud.
So the call to prayer, you have that in the form of 50 cars lining your streets. That's what you're saying?
Pretty much.
So
And
I
so
mean,
you can
you're
couple
100%.
that with
You're 100% right with that, right? So what I'm saying is, like, with me, I don't want I don't want any religion taking over and using their majority to force their laws on anybody else. That's my problem with all the religions. And what you're basically saying is that you legit do not have a problem with Christians, Catholics, Jews, you name the religion. You think you would be able to live next to them and not want to commit jihad against them, whenever that means.
absolutely. I love my neighbors and I have friends from all different walks of life, including LGBTQ. We definitely don't see eye to
You don't
eye
want to
on
throw them
many
off the
things
building?
there.
You don't want to take them
What?
to your roof and throw them off your roof? That's what's said about you
No,
guys.
they're actually pretty cool people. I have a lot of them. We organize, we sit together. People are people. At the end of the day, if you're not imposing on me, like you said, why not? We all get along. Our kids play together. Our kids organize.
So your
We
kids play together.
mingle.
Your kids play with other non-Muslim kids.
Of course. We're in America.
Oh, listen, you say that like it's a thing, but it happens. Like, the segregation of children definitely 100% happens. Do you have
Well,
your
it's
own separate
blatant
Muslim
right
schools?
now.
Your kids go to? If you don't mind, I don't want to get into your kids or whatever, but you obviously go to public school, right? Or
My kids are in public school
okay,
and they have their good circle of friends since kindergarten, that since we've moved here, both of my kids, and they're with the
obviously
same
nothing but
group of.
Muslims, though, right?
No, actually.
I know. I'm just playing around.
Actually, not one of their friends is a Muslim. Actually, one of my older son's kids is a Muslim.
Okay.
I
Listen,
mean,
and I'm asking you these ridiculous questions for a reason, okay? And I hope you see what I'm doing, because I want to
yes.
I'm trying to flush out the stigma, okay? And this is one of the things that I really wanted, like Morty on for, so he could tell me what his problem was with you. And I got to tell you something: the fact that you have the courage to come here, sit down here, and answer these questions, just shows that it shows who is, to me, who has more conviction in what they're saying and what their beliefs are. You know what I'm saying? So let's do this. And we have wow. You know what? I am like running really low on water, and I'm doing like sip at a time. I feel like I'm stranded on an island. I only get a little tiny bit, only a little tiny bit. So let's do this now. I really want to. Is there anything else? Okay, so let me ask you this question before I ask you anything else. How does it feel living in a community that you love, that you are, a part of, obviously, right? That your kids hang out and all this stuff. How does it feel knowing that there might be a leader of a certain community, and that community is really coming into your town very, very hard? How does it feel? Like, what is your daily life, or like what goes on in your head knowing that people that do not like you for who you are, and that's as a Palestinian person who has different ideals than them? How does it feel knowing that that's coming in on you? Like, just tell me, like, your thoughts and your feelings overall about your living situation now.
Initially, once we started seeing a high turnover of our new community members coming in, I didn't have a huge judgment, because I don't. unless you prove me otherwise, you go amongst yourselves and do whatever it is you want to do, because it's very clear this community doesn't like to mingle with anyone else. They're all on their own, and it's almost like segregation,
It is.
self-imposed segregation. But anything that in any case, self-imposed segregation. But I do not judge until you prove me or present something for me to judge. So I stay neutral. Over time, what I've seen is less and less regard for your neighbor. So one day it'll be, I'll give you an example. I was cleaning my car in my driveway, and this is now a couple of years in after many had moved into my community. Cleaning my car in my driveway, I'm listening to my prayers in my car stereo, and one of these community members stands, faces me and my husband, and grabs himself inappropriately because he hears my prayers. I think that's crazy.
That's
That's
you know, it's interesting.
sickening.
I hear those type of stories a lot, honestly, and you see them a lot. So basically, after Morty did this to you, what's your life been like since Morty did this to you? And
So
then
it's not
I
the
want to hear
first
about
time.
your nationwide ideas.
Yeah. So it's not the first time Morty has been infatuated with me for a long
It's not?
time now. No, it's actually a disgusting pattern of his where he likes to target Arab, Muslim, Palestinian women, specifically myself, because there's not many like me here, but there is a Muslim community in Jackson. They may not be vocal, but if we go back to 2024, where I had organized a
This goes back to
rally.
2024, huh? Okay, you were sorry.
Yes, we organized a small rally, less than 40 people total. And I guess Morty and Raina and Jen Kuhn and the rest of the clowns behind the scenes. Apparently you're a terrorist again, over and over again, because the rally was stop the genocide, save Palestine. But that's apparently a problem because there is a settler colonial project going on, and God forbid anyone is connected to Palestine. It's no longer Palestine. It's Israel, with greater Israel, settler colonialism, imperialism, modern day. Oh my God. This thing is not supposed to be happening in 2026. Like, we're not living under a rock. Palestinians are live streaming their genocide. Like, we have connections to the rest of the world, and whoever's willing to look this information up, it's available at your fingertips. Israel uses white phosphorus on children. Israel uses bombs, tomahawks from America. We pay for them. But this pattern of Morty that started back in 2024 is because he must feel threatened on some type of level from this one Arab Muslim Palestinian woman that says,
You look intimidating. I got to be honest with you. I'm kind of leaning back as you're talking right now.
I look scary.
Scary. You're 110 pounds here. You know what I'm saying?
So let me find one of my vests in the closet first. It's unbelievable. We had at this rally, we had children, mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, like other members of the community that were actually happy that somebody was organizing something for Palestine in Jackson, because they're afraid to speak up, period. They don't go to council meetings because they don't speak there, because nobody listens. How many times did I go to the council meeting and, okay, have a good night. Okay, have a good night. And that's what I get.
Crazy. Thank
Oh
you
my
for your
God, it's
thoughtful
like
response.
so robotic.
Oh, it's so disgusting, isn't it? Yeah.
It's it's very like scripted. Like, did you hear anything I just said? No, but you
No.
cut my time short. You spoke over me and you told me have a good night. Okay. I'm glad it's all recorded.
Yeah, and he made it very clear that you shouldn't even be able to talk to a political candidate, and that candidate shouldn't be able to talk to you. You know,
Well,
that was the most incredible thing to me. Like, wait a second, you're saying this woman can't vote because of her, you know, nationwide, worldwide political beliefs? That, to me, like, people throw the anti-American thing around a lot, and I challenge people to define what an American is a lot. But that was one of the most anti-American things. This, what's done to you, bothered me because it's an anti-American thing. Again, you know, I don't have to agree with you. I don't. None of us have to agree with you. You know, like in the chat, Jay
and
Calvin is
that's the
saying, like,
beauty of America.
yeah, he's saying there is no free will in Iran. You know, women cannot walk alone in public. They must be accompanied by a male in Iran. That's what he's saying. So like,
So
you could say what you're saying. He could say that. That's the beauty of this entire thing. We don't have to agree, right? Sorry,
right,
what were you gonna
but
say?
I do have one um comment statement regarding Iran right now. The largest population of Jewish Semites, true Jewish Semites, is in Iran. So Israel dragged America into a war with Iran, which holds the largest Jewish population. I mean, can we make it make sense somehow?
Yeah, and I think
What's
it's absolutely unbelievable. But before we get to that, you said something that piqued my interest. So, um, this rally of yours, you said something when we were talking, last night, about planes going over your head, about playing
oh yeah.
loudspeakers, about them trying to drown you out. This is so, and then something about a visit to your house. Why don't you go into
So
that?
it started with a visit from a Jackson police officer, supposedly a counterterrorism department that I don't know why Jackson needs a whole counterterrorism department
For
here.
you,
Like for me, oh my
for
God, and
you,
freshly
yeah.
made business card that had typos on it. So I said, well, when I answered the door, I said, "Hi, can I help you?" And he goes, "Yeah, I don't know if you remember me." I'm like, "I do. We sat together at a multicultural committee meeting at a public high school. I don't remember if it was a year or 2 years prior. And I sat at his table with this officer. And that's a whole other topic that is a little beyond my comprehension um, about what was happening at that meeting. It was more corruption. In any case, he said, "Well, I'm here to find out from you who are the other organizers regarding this rally of yours." I said, "Well, if you're counterterrorism, I'm sure you can figure it out the same way you figured me out. You're so smart. You have all this intelligence. Why are you asking me?" So I'm not at liberty to disclose anyone else's information. If you want to go figure it out, you have to figure it out yourself. And he goes, "Well, we just want you to know that you can't have this rally." I said, "Really?" Because I looked all the details up for the amount of people that we're having at the location that we're planning it, and there's nothing illegal about it. It's free speech. It's my First Amendment. No, you
Yeah, and
can't.
we have the right to assembly.
Exactly.
Period.
And he said, "Well, you have to get a permit, and then we put you in Johnson Park." I said, "In the middle of the woods?" Who's gonna see? Well, what's the point? In the middle of the woods with less than 40 people. What's your point here? And I said, "I know the laws. I did my research. I know what I'm supposed to be doing and what I'm not supposed to be doing. And no, I don't need a permit because I'm not exceeding a certain number of people." He said, "No, well, you can't have it." I said, "Well, thank you for your opinion and your advice. And I have it all recorded on my house cameras. Like, we can share this with the community at another time." And then I proceeded to speak with my other organizers, and we changed the location last minute. And before we arrived, there was counterterrorism, state police, local police, all kinds of um, authority and security there, plus pro-Israeli counter-protesters with really large, loud trucks and speakers. Like, I don't understand, what was the point of this? So I know intentionally it was to silence us, which takes me to the planes also above head. We had 2 biplanes flying above head below legal altitude. And if you find online, and I have the videos of that also, the operators of the plane communicating with the counter protesters on the ground at where to fly, how to fly, at what point to fly, over whose head to fly below legal altitude. So if that's not a way to silence anyone, and I'm going to use the word terrorize someone, I don't know what the definition of this whole circus charade they did is. So this is Morty's pattern. Since then, he's been obsessed with me, stalking me.
And why do you think that is?
He's
Why do you think he's
threatened.
coming at you?
He's definitely threatened because there's no other explanation of why to silence one single Arab Muslim female Palestinian. Then why you, as a political official, a legal representative of this town, do you go to such extents to silence one woman?
It honestly doesn't make a lot of sense. I got to tell you, this is what I've been racking my brain with, trying to figure out why did the papers go after you? Why did the Lakewood papers go after you? Why is he going after you for all of this? Again, like, there's a lot of people that disagree with you in the chat, as far as, they claim Israel isn't killing innocent people with terrorist bombs. I would fully disagree with that statement. I would fully disagree with it. They are 100%.
Wait, can you repeat it again? What is it?
One is, Israel is not killing innocent people with terrorist bombs. Iran's proxy invaded Israel and killed.
Okay, let's do this.
There's people in the YouTube chat. Do you want to take some questions with me and answer some questions? Have some fun?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So what do you think? Is Israel killing people with terrorist bombs?
Absolutely, they are. They have killed, with our American taxpayer dollars, $3.8 billion a year from our money that's internationally sent to an entity that's also occupying our government at a federal and local level, to kill innocent civilians. To date, not including Lebanon, Iran, and wherever else they're bombing, because it's nothing but a settler colonial project, they have killed anywhere between 100 to 126,000 civilians, slaughtered, some with bulldozers, smashing their houses down with families living inside of them. They burn children alive. They force them to drink gasoline and burn our children alive. There's atrocious stories, but those are statistics for anyone to just Google how many children have been killed by Israel. You'll find it at
it's a lot. It's thousands and thousands of kids. I have
the
done the
kids
research
alone
on
is
this.
like
I could tell you
50,000
right now,
or more.
according to the IDF's their own reporting on this, they say 2 for every 1 person killed was a civilian. Okay. They claim that, Hamas uses them as shields. So they just have to bomb
Let's
everybody.
talk about Hamas for a little bit.
What's that?
I said, let's talk about Hamas for a little bit.
Well, let's do this, because you know what I want to do. I honestly I want to save that, because I want to have you back on to talk about a lot of this stuff. And I don't want to blow everything right now. Let's do this. Let's get to a couple questions. You know what I'm saying? Because we could go off on a lot of these. Ready? So making deals. Here you go. He was like, this guy's like power. He's like power posting. She wants Israel destroyed. And okay, what happened with Hamas? Come on, be honest. Hold on. Okay. He's like power doing. So we'll get to a couple of them. Ready here. Ready. Hold on. He's like going crazy. It's absolutely hysterical. Mike, I'll buy her a ticket back to Iran. Mike, you better call her out or I'm coming to your house in fucking 20 minutes. This guy's crazy. Lies. Mike, ask her if she supports what Hamas did invading Israel. Do you support what Hamas did invading Israel?
First of all, IDF did not respond to Hamas invading Israel till 8 hours after Hamas was already in, with the most intelligent surveillance and the biggest apartheid wall. There was no security for 8 hours until Hamas entered. After they entered, 8 hours later is when soldiers started appearing. That is public news and knowledge. Go look it up. That's it. That's my answer to that individual.
So let me ask you this. Let's assume, okay, that Hamas, there wasn't a false flag. They came in and killed all of those civilians, raped, and did everything that they say that they did. Do you support that action?
If they did that, of course I would not support it. But actually, that is what Israel is doing, and I condemn them for it.
So you would condemn both groups for that act of killing
Whoever
civilians
does it
and raping people.
Yes, absolutely. Whoever does this is evil. There's no room for evil in our world.
Yeah, so okay, so I mean that's a great one. Amen Disker, I love Amen Disker. Says it's funny. I witnessed a Jewish children harass on a mailman. He was brown and had a long beard, so that's interesting.
Well, we're gonna get to that at some point too. How they how certain community members just target others for, I don't even understand the reason. Supposedly, it's part of their religion to do certain things.
So okay, so let's see any. We'll do like one more question here. Let's see who has a decent question. If you want, put a good question in the chat. Mike, I'm farting. No, I'm definitely not farting. Does it sound like I'm farting? Because somebody said Mike just let one out, and something must have happened because I definitely did not. It might be the bunny that's in the background. I definitely have a bunny back there. But if it sounded
I didn't hear anything, Mike.
Like I farted, then oh man, what are we gonna do? I don't see any. Do you support Netanyahu's guys giving a briefcase full of cash to Hamas?
I don't know. My answer is I don't know, because America and Israel are allies. America is Israel. Israel is America. This is what it is. New Jersey is the sister state of Israel. So what happened to the briefcase with cash? Is it true? Is it not? My answer is I wouldn't be surprised. But I also wouldn't be surprised if it were something along the category of something like ISIS, where we thought it was Islamic radicalism. And now we discover ISIS is Israeli Secret Service intelligence. So I don't have an exact answer for that question right now.
So I don't have that's the first time I've ever heard of that. So I don't even know if I have a question to combat that question. Listen, you could certainly see where it came from. There's a call in, but listen, I don't want to go too late here because I don't want to. I honestly, I hope you had a good time with this, and I would love to have you back to talk with. Because listen, if we get into talking Hamas, Hezbollah, why don't you do me a favor really fast? Because it's when people say supporter of terrorists and all this stuff, what do you feel? Who is Hamas? Who is Hezbollah? Who are all these groups in your eyes?
So let's start with a local level here, right? I am a U.S. citizen, a Jackson resident, and whenever there's injustice, oppression, people being silenced, we resist, right? There's many women that have pushed back, and it's just appalling that the women are constantly being attacked. But I would call them resistance. They push back against oppression, injustice, violation of any civil rights. Now, if you look at Hamas, Hezbollah, you can call them whatever you want to call them. They can come in so many different ways. They are resistance. They push back against illegal occupation, oppression, genocide. The genocide didn't start October 7th, by the way. It's been happening since 1937, the Nakba 1948. And it was, Nakba is a word for genocide, ethnic cleansing. It's been happening since then. Every few years, there's another mass ethnic cleansing. So, what do you expect is going to happen when a child witnesses an entire family wiped out in front of his eyes? And then he grows up, and there's others like him, and they talk, and they're like, well, they have their big guns and machines. What are we going to do? They spent years fighting back against illegal occupation to a land that was given away by Great Britain, the Balfour Declaration. It was given away to a people without a land, but the land had people. Hence, when you say
It's just taken from them.
Palestinians,
Mhm.
Palestinians, break it down, Palestine, and then the ending, the land belonging to Palestinians. We're not going to get into that, but okay, after the Holocaust, we'll go into this just briefly, the Palestinians harbored them and took them in to hide them from persecution and further killings.
That is
And
fact.
then that is a fact. It's all history. And whoever's
Mhm.
interested can read it. You know, it's all available at your fingertips.
They 100% accommodated them, brought them in, and kept them safe.
And they lived
100%.
together for years in peace. And they still do. There's Christians in Palestine, there's other Jews in Palestine, and there's Muslims in Palestine. Until you have Netanyahu for the last 30, 40 years with the Greater Israel Project. And then you wonder why there's resistance. No matter what the name, you can call them the blue guys. It's still a resistance to an illegal occupation. All it is a settler colonial project. Stealing land.
Listen, you know, if you look up the definition, everybody could do it for themselves. But it's going to be one of my definitions with Calderys. A settler colony ethno state. Look it up, and you know, you kind of just decide for yourself. And again, I put this on many different groups of people that are trying to do settler colonies. It's not only one group of people that's doing it. And again, like you know, I hate it because everyone was like, hey, you have to clarify, you have to make a differentiation between Israel and regular Jews. You know what I'm saying? You have to make a difference from Palestinians.
Which is
and
fine. I respect that actually, because it's the Israelis, Zionists, that have weaponized the term anti-Semitism. When half of them are not even Semitic. They're not. They're European. They speak Yiddish, not even the language of the Canaanites. I am a Canaanite from the land of the Canaanites. I am a Semite. Morty Bernstein, let's talk about that. He's from Europe or Poland.
Isn't
He's
he
not even a
classified?
Semite.
Isn't that classified? Isn't he being anti-Semitic technically when you look at the definition again? Because it's about the Semitic languages and the Semitic people that spoke the Semitic languages of that land. And technically
Exactly.
speaking, many Palestinians fit that bill. Many Arabs fit that bill, right? You're an Arab?
Yes, and the Jewish people from Iran, from Palestine, from Egypt, all these Middle Eastern countries, they have Jewish populations that live together in peace. We have to be able to differentiate, and this person in our community chat here with us is right, but I would disagree with the tone because we would like to have civilized conversations, of course, but there is a difference between the true Semites, whichever ethnicity they are or religion they are, because Semites just means the land, the people that come from the land of the Canaanites that spoke the language of the Semites, which if you speak Yiddish, you're not a Semite. You're from Poland. However,
Yeah.
there
Well,
are other Jewish people that practice the Torah in a respectful way without demonizing and following a political agenda, and they live together in peace. So the ones that follow a political agenda, socialist, the elites, the ones that are threatened by every little thing that anyone says, have weaponized the word anti-Semitism. They are the ones that have created the rise in anti-Semitism, because they stand for the entire Jewish population and they make them look bad. But I do get it. And it's true. There are some really peaceful neighbors of ours that are Semites, true, peaceful Semites, and not the ones terrorizing everybody and putting targets on people's back and genociding people overseas.
yeah, I think everybody has to really look at the numbers of the violent people in the world, and it really is very low numbers, comparatively speaking, to everybody. Now there's numbers that say, the radical of one population is way more than radical of the other population. But when you look at the overall violence is the people committing violence. They're very low numbers in the grand scheme of the billions of people that are on the planet, of every single religion in the whole nine yards. Let's see. Do we have any other questions? I know. Do we want to? I don't want to keep you. Do you want to do a call in line? You want to have fun and take a call?
Sure,
Or
let's
you
do
tell
it.
me, how much time do we have left for you? You want to take a call?
I'm okay. We can do whatever you
All right.
wish.
Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get a hater on. Let's see some haterade. Let's see if we get this going. If you want to call in, I know there was a private number, because everyone has to be private these days. If you want to call in, private number, now is the time to do so. 732-608-4358. And look, I where I come from. We spoke about it last night, but everybody watching this knows where I come from. I'm a believer that there's definitely terrorists in the world, and there's definitely people that want to do evil in the world. And I think there's terroristic responses to terroristic responses. And one of the things that I'm trying to blast into everybody's head is, the fighting evil with evil has been tried forever. I don't think it's ever worked. I think it just creates way more evil, and fighting bombs with more bombs. That's what happens. If you
It
drop
doesn't
bombs on
work.
people, you're gonna get bombed. And I
But
worry
Mike, I
all
agree
of our
with
meddling
you
is
a
going to come here.
hundred
Sorry, go ahead.
percent. There is, I would like to say, divide and conquer. For the ones creating evil, they like to create this divide and conquer, which is kind of like what we're seeing with Morty. If you look at it, he's targeted me because I'm an Arab Muslim, and he's threatened also by Elliot. So he shot three birds with one stone. All of his wishes, if the people allow it to be that way, because his mission is to divide and conquer. Oh, she's a terrorist. She's a terrorist supporter because he's threatened by Elliot. Oh, how can you even let her think or speak? We're going to just keep attacking her because she's an Arab Muslim, and the greater agenda on the international scale. She's also speaking about Israel. Israel is the number one terrorist state right now. And there
That's
is
a fact.
that is a fact. And they dragged us into the war with Iran. But there is an interesting poll that is very recent, within, I don't know, since March, just a couple of months ago, where it shows Israel's favorability amongst the American people from every group, from Republicans, Democrats, every age group, different age groups. And it shows the favorability from 2022 and today. And that's public knowledge too. Anybody can look it up. I think it was CNN that posted it. It's gone down. And in fact, Palestinian favorability has gone up, which has not happened in the US, I think, ever before. Why? Because those that plan on divide and conquer like to also control the narrative. So now that the truth is coming out, the people's vision is changing. It's not the same.
Well, Rania, it's like this, and if I had a badass like Cobra Mustang, you know, in my garage, and someone stole it from me, and then 30 years later, I find that dude, I find out who stole it from me. He still has my car. I walk in, knock him out, and take my car back. Am I the thief? Am I the aggressor? Am I the person that's the asshole when I got something taken and I'm still trying to fight for it? You know, and when it was put like that to me, you know, and it was that's not my analogy. It was something I heard. It kind of rang to me. I was like, you know what? You do have people that just had land taken, and I do understand the idea of fighting for land because, you know, one of the things that opened my eyes a little bit, I guess, to looking and listening to people like yourself was, you know, when I did that, everyone kind of sounded the same as me about what we're dealing with in Ocean County, and the same names, all of the same things are being called to me that was called to you guys. And then the things that you were called an anti-Semite over.
Taxpayer question. Mike, are you there? Mike?
Wow, check that out. I just lost internet for the first time ever. I'm going to text Rania, see if she could get back in. Rania entered the studio. Rania, we lost internet.
Oh boy, I wonder how that
happened.
happened.
And I do not lose internet, and I'm telling you something. We got zapped with something.
I believe it. I wouldn't undermine anything.
We completely lost. I saw everything go black. I don't even know what I was saying or where I wanted to say it. Totally Random says, great conversation. I may not agree with all of it, but I am open-minded, willing to listen and learn. I think, listen, Totally Random, and I don't have anybody that wanted to call in. If you guys want to call in, last chance. This is the last chance. Here is the show. I will take one phone call tonight. But listen, man, that is, to me, what matters is what Totally Random just said. He's willing to listen. Okay, you don't have to agree with people, but when we start devolving into calling, oh, you're just a this or you're just a that, you are going to turn yourself off from even having a conversation. Now, you could, at the end of the conversation, you could take what she says and say, oh, well, she's just another Islamist liar or whatever. There's going to be people saying whatever the hell they want. You know what I'm saying?
That's okay. It's okay. But anything I say that is questioned by anybody, it's available to do your own research. I'm not a scholar. I don't have all the answers, and I never claim to have all the answers. So if I'm not sure of something, I will clearly say, you know what, Mike, can I get back to you on that? Let me read into it a little bit more. But if I say something, I stand behind it. And if someone questions it, I promise you will find the answers online.
Yeah, listen, I got to tell you something. We could do a bunch of, I could do a bunch more. Do me one. I'm going to ask you one question.
Yeah.
And you hear this all the time. Muslims do not share American values. Can you just answer that? That's the last question for you. Do Muslims share American values?
I would disagree. Highly disagree. And encounter. Give me one of anybody's topmost American value. What would that be?
For
Any
me,
American.
It's individuality.
Well, I can't argue that. I don't think anybody can argue that. I mean, America is a melting pot, and the beauty of it is we are all unique and different in our own ways. I believe as long as you are respectful and considerate and a good citizen to me shares the 10 commandments of everybody else and every other religion. It's the same 10 commandments. Don't steal.
Hey, you ready for this? You ready for this? We have a call coming in.
All right, let's take it.
All right. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Elliot Shemta from Jackson.
Oh, hello there.
You sound loud, so I'm going to lower you a little bit here. Elliot
Sorry.
Shemta from Jackson. Elliot, what do you have to say, buddy?
Hey, it's a great call so far. And, here's what it makes America great. Here we have two people, Rania and myself, right? I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of things Rania said that I don't agree with, okay? But that's on a world stage. I met Rania as the Jackson resident who had concerns about her town, our town, and nobody else has ever reached out to her. They've only targeted her and spoke negatively about her.
Yep.
And she was tough on me. She asked me questions about Israel. And I had said straight up to Rania, I said, look, I'm not running for president, okay? You probably may not even like what I'd have to tell you about my thoughts on Israel and Palestine and so on, okay? But as someone who's running for mayor, she's a taxpayer. I owe it to her, as any other resident in this town, to sit down and talk to them about the issues, her issues, and what makes Jackson important to her. And we did that. And when we went in there, I'm not going to say it was all, sunshine and rainbows the first couple minutes. But by the time we got through an hour of conversation, which really focused around Jackson, we had a great conversation. We shook hands. We took a nice picture together. I thought she was a great citizen. She was a great resident. And at the end of the day, her personal opinions about the state of Israel and what's going on with Palestine, that's between her, her family, her friends, or anybody else she talks to.
And obviously the caltrop, because she was just hammering this down, bro.
And now the caltrop.
And now the caltrop. And let me tell you something. You came on and she came on. There was one other person that was involved in this that I would have loved to have. He may be calling in. There was somebody that was calling in the background. Last thing, Elliot, really quick, but do you have any questions for us? Anything else for Rania?
No, nothing else. Rania, stay strong. Look, First Amendment, you have the right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, to believe in what you believe in. Again, that's what makes us unique. That's what makes us Americans. We don't have to agree on everything. We only have to agree on what brings us together, and that's Jackson Township. God bless you both.
Thank you, bud. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Elliot. He's one of the reasons why you're here, Rania. One of the reasons why you're here. 848. I'll give you one more chance if you want to call in. That number that was just calling me. If you want to call in, give me a call real quick. Go ahead, Rania.
I feel like Morty gave me and Elliot the platform to basically show right and wrong, good and bad. So the voters, the people, our community out there, if you ask me, hypothetical question or none, maybe someone's already asking, would I consider voting for Elliot Shemtov now or Morty, which would never happen anyway, but I'm going to go with the person who supported my First Amendment right.
Yeah, I mean, it to me, that's what America's all about, right? I don't have to agree with everything everybody has to say, but if you're here, you're a citizen, you get a right to vote, then you should be able to figure out who to vote for. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to have that stake in that game. And let me tell you something, Rania, I am going to defend it any time that I possibly can. I'm going to defend your right to think differently. And this is what a lot of people don't realize. When I get onto Lakewood, I'm not going after how you think, what your religion is, or any of that stuff. I go after the bad behavior. And I would do that for any single group that's trying to do this for any type of situation, right? So last thoughts, Ronnie, because I don't know if that number is going to call back. I just texted them, call back now. I don't know if they're going to call back, but last thoughts, Rania, what do you want to end with?
My last thoughts are, any person with a legal position or gives the green light from a platform where they're supposed to be serving the people, any person that behaves the way that Morty and Jen Kuhn, by the way, because she should have addressed this behavior. This is toxic. It's further divide and conquer. But in any way, they've given themselves they've singled themselves out even further. Not that everyone did not know this, but they've singled themselves even further. Jen should have addressed this toxic behavior, which Morty should have never happened from the first place.
Should
What?
apologize to you.
Apologized, reprimanded. Actually, this is criminal. This is corrupt.
Yep.
This is toxic. This is a safety concern. And there are plenty of facts along the way to prove it. It's a safety concern. You've put a target on one of your constituents. You've demonized a citizen that pays your salary. If anything happens to me,
Here you go.
they
You
put
ready?
themselves in that situation.
Let's see. This is one call. We'll take one more call and we'll let you go because this guy called back. What's your name? Where you calling from? Welcome to the Caltrop.
Hey, Mike, it's Brad. It's Brad Corey. You know who I am.
Oh,
I'm making deals.
Oh, making deals. Okay, real quick. You have a question or a comment?
No, I just want to make a statement. Elliot's amazing, and I told him don't have a meal with this woman because I'm totally against what she stands for. And by going to dinner with her, it gives her a voice. And now she's on your show. And, there's two sides to every story. And he knows what he's doing as far as, with politics. He puts his personal feelings aside and does what's right by residents. It pisses me off because I'm listening to her on the show telling all kinds of lies. And I don't think you went hard enough on her, but listen, you do what you, I don't, you do what
this is not, I'm not here to go hard on people, my man. I am here to have a conversation. And you know what the problem is? I'm going to be honest with you. When you say that you shouldn't give someone like her a voice, I don't understand that very concept because I think we should be smart enough to be able to listen to this woman. And whether we agree or don't agree, we should be able to smart enough to decipher our own thoughts. Correct?
Yes, but okay. First of all, Hamas invaded Israel. Israel defended themselves.
That's not true.
Okay.
I mean, yes, that's true, but Hamas was created by Israeli aggression. You can't deny that.
Okay, wait. They came over the border. They killed innocent people. Okay?
Yes, okay.
This is what happened.
Yes.
Okay. They responded in kind. So we're not going to go into a whole thing of politics.
But are we gonna leave out the people that were killed before that for like the reason why they did that, or do we leave that killing out? Or are we starting October 7th?
Well, there's never a reason to kill innocent people like that.
Awesome.
Okay?
Thank you. Okay.
Right. But the point here is the genocide, the killing didn't start on October 7th.
Coming to this country, just like they did in the United Kingdom, they're changing the demographic. And I don't like what's happening in the country. I don't like what's happening in New York. And these are my personal beliefs. Other people may feel differently. All right. She had posts. I don't know exactly what was posted, but things about, she was happy that Israelis were killed and some Americans were killed. And
we're not going to rehash that because we already asked her about it. You know what I'm saying? No, so we already asked her about it.
And I just don't think you went hard enough, but you got your way of doing, business. And listen, I'm a very big supporter of Elliot. He's a close friend. And I didn't think that he did the right thing. He probably did for becoming a mayor. He did the right thing because, he's a genius that he put his personal feelings aside and did this. Not many people could do that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's to me, I think that's a fine example of both of them wanting to have a conversation. I think when we shut down conversation is when we have blind hatred for individual people or groups. You don't have to listen to, you don't have to hear what they have to say. You don't have to like what they have to say, but I think, shutting down people's right to say it, that to me is wrong on every level. But thank you, man. I really appreciate the call.
No problem. Take care, guys.
Have a great night. So listen, so we had a criticism. Right, Rania? Do you want to have a last comment for that or what?
Well, the criticism is, I can take constructive criticism just fine. However, if you don't know all the facts or have done your due diligence in the research, it's more like what Morty did with the propaganda machine, just spewing nonsense without facts. So if we want to have a proper civilized conversation, we can have that dialogue with proper facts, because it didn't start on October 7th. It didn't start in 2024 either, or 2020 or 1990. It started in 1948, and these children that we call Hamas are going through this vicious cycle. They're resistance groups. And then you said Hamas is created. I've heard
It's
both
created
of this, and
out of killing. That's just the
yeah,
bottom
kind of
line.
like
All of these groups are
ISIS.
created out of killing. Israel was created out of killing. Everyone has to get a grip with that, right? So Israel was killed, and because of that, or I mean, the Jewish people were killed. Let's say the Holocaust, whatever it is, but they were, and this happened multiple times throughout history. When they get killed, they go insulated, and then they have their own little groups, and then their groups definitely have been terrorists in the past from the Stern Gang on up. Right. So like when you look at all this stuff, it's like it's human nature. It's survival. You go inside your little group and then you fight back everybody else. This is literally what humanity has been doing nonstop. Just nonstop. It's what we do.
And it's actually really sad.
It's sad. Yes, exactly.
We're going to have to save a lot of it for our next
Yeah,
time.
that's great. Listen, I kept you
Yeah.
for an hour and a half. That is, let me tell you something. This has been an absolutely fantastic conversation. Guys, again, you know, what we should be doing and what should have taken place here, if you ask me, was me, you, Elliot, and Morty should have gotten into a round table and had a real discussion about the issues going on in Ocean County and Jackson, or for in your guys' case, what's going on in Jackson. Morty should have come on and talked about this because he's the one that initiated this. He's the one that called you out. He's the reason why you're on this. Elliot's not the reason why you're on this show. Everyone has to remember
Elliot would have been attacked for not meeting with me or meeting with me. I am a taxpayer citizen.
He would be called a racist. Oh my God. Can you imagine Elliot didn't meet with that Palestinian woman because she has a different view? The same people that are attacking him for meeting with you would have been attacking him for not meeting with you. Isn't that ironic?
Right. It's extremely double-edged, double standards. And that's why we need to not think divide and conquer. We need to stay together to change the way things are going in Jackson. Because when you do the divide and conquer, it doesn't work.
And you're 100% right. It doesn't work. And I got to tell you something. I do believe that there are religious groups out there that want to divide and conquer. They want their specific religion to take over. I see it locally. I see it nationally. I see it worldwide. I think there's a lot of groups that are radical in their own religion that want to do these things. And then there's everybody else that gets sucked into it. And, you know, sometimes the biggest complaint that everyone has about me is when I say anything about the Jewish people or the Lakewood people that I am calling their problems out. They're like, oh, don't lump me in with that. You know, so I always have to do that. Remember, we are a group of people. And I hope all Muslims feel the way you do, or the most of them, or the majority of them that live around here.
You can ask anyone. If you walk down the street, just ask them. But Western media has demonized.
You've definitely been demonized. That's for sure. Listen, I want, if you want, I would love to have you back on, because you know, this, to be a caltrop means you have to be able to defend your own mind from propaganda. Okay. And the way you do that is by having these type of talks, you know, and people could think I went too easy or whatever. This isn't an interrogation. I'm not here trying to shine a light in your face saying, tell me about your religion. Tell me about Muhammad. And he was, you know, with 9-year-old women. This is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to have conversations with people. And I think every one of us should be learning from this conversation and not demonizing. Demonizing is what gets us in the position we're in. And in Ocean County, it is in a fever pitch position where we have women being attacked for a different ideology from different people. We have a powder keg building up in our area from people not talking, and a lot of hate building up, and something's building in our area. And if you live in it, you know what's going on. Rania, I really appreciate your time on the Caltrop. I really do. Everybody, listen, and you, it's not like you don't do shows. You're not running for politics. Like, you don't have a page to plug or any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? None of that,
just
right?
the mom.
You're just a
Palestinian, Arab, Muslim mom in Jackson. That's it.
That's it. Listen, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time, Rania, and everybody out there. I hope you appreciate this. Share this. Obviously, like that. Go ahead. I'm going to be very nice. Touch that like button. We really appreciate it. Touch your like button. And obviously, be a caltrop in your own mind. This caltrop will be back Friday night, 8 p.m. And I am out. Later.
Thank you.